Train by day, Kyle Wigginton podcast by night, all day.
Like kickoff.
What a great name.
It's horrendous. It's actually German for swamp water.
Get out of here.
Yeah. Which is weird also because none of my family is German really. So I don't even know where that name came from.
Swamp water.
Swamp water.
How? Because it's one of the things whenever you're talking about like names and stuff is like it used to have to do with what your family did, right? As a profession.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So
swamp water.
I know. I'm trying to think about that.
I think they just made it up. They're like, you know what? We're just gonna go with Rick.
I know it has to have something. It has to have some meaning, right? So
yeah. I'm gonna start using that word now.
Absolutely.
So I didn't know about this ketamine thing. Are you?
Yeah, we could talk about it.
Tell me about it. Yeah, because
I mean, it's an interesting thing. I didn't know anything about it. And so I had tried like several antidepressants and, other medications and stuff like that were just ineffective. And so finally I got this doctor who ended up like referring me to this practice, I guess. And it's a very interesting experience. Like they put you in a room, you have to stay there for 2 hours. You can't drive the rest of the day.
Alone?
I've brought, Payson and friends and such, along with me. Like you don't have to be alone, but I've gone alone as well. And yeah, they just leave you in there. Like they give you, it's like a nasal spray, I guess. And yeah, they have you wait there for 2 hours and just, you're tripping on ketamine.
Well, like, what does that feel like?
I mean, it feels weird. It's not it's not for me so much like, and I kind of ended up stopping it because it was making me like nauseous and I wasn't having great experiences towards the end, but it was very, very beneficial. I mean, it's been the most like.
What was one of the bad experiences? You threw up or is it like you're in your head?
No, I'm sitting in the office, like throwing up. Yeah, it was not great.
See, I've never taken ketamine, so I don't know anything about it, but I've heard about the K-hole or whatever. Mm-hmm. Did you ever look that up?
I never really found myself. Well, it's interesting because like they have like a dose that they give you. So I was never taking like so much that I, got into one of those really. But I mean, it's definitely like, it's like you're so disoriented.
So describe it to me. They put it in your nose. Yeah. And then what happens?
I mean, it hits you pretty quick. I mean, it hits pretty quick, right? So like, I don't know. You're sitting there. They literally have like crayons and stuff, so you can like draw. So sometimes I would draw like I don't know. It's just like it hits really quick. It's very intense. Like you're very disoriented. Like things that are small seem huge. Like it's just a very disorienting thing. But it lasts like 15 minutes maybe.
Have you tried like psilocybin and other ones too?
Never done any other kind of psychedelic. Yeah. Well, also I'm a little hesitant. I'm anxious. Mm-hmm. So I don't know that they would really do good things for me. Right. Yeah.
That's why it's kind of amazing that ketamine worked the way it did.
And it's so, I would never have thought, I really would never have thought like I'm really grateful for this doctor for having like referred me, obviously. But I wish more people knew about it. Really.
Yeah. This is a practice you can find in a clinical practice, right?
Yeah. I mean, and I don't know that they even have them in every state. Like, because it's like not something that even people really know about, but like,
God, I want to do it now.
No, I mean, it's like you could probably, I'm sure you could go
just for the experience.
No, it's really like, but again, I mean, it's just beneficial. Like I see no reason not to. Like, I just think I see so many SSRIs have so many side effects and like really negative things. You have to be taking a medication every single day. It just doesn't make sense. Like, I think they should really be trying this more. You have to go like once a week, or something like that. It's really makes way more sense to me.
Yeah. Well, I mean, when you have a system that's built off of money, so, I mean, it makes sense. They want you to take a pill every day. So they can keep selling you a pill every day.
Well, and I think it's kind of messed up. It's just the way that they hit I don't know, that the society looks at drugs is so messed up because, something like ketamine, which is a illegal street drug, is so beneficial for something like this. Why do they villainize or criminalize such drugs that like, it just makes no sense to me, really. They handle it in such the wrong way.
Yeah, it's all based off money, right?
Oh, always.
Yeah.
But it's I would recommend it to everyone.
No, I'm glad that you found something that works for you. And I think everyone should definitely try something like that out rather than take the SSRIs.
Exactly.
Like,
or even benzodiazepines or any, anxiety medicine. It's like,
I had a friend that I think she was on SSRIs and she had to take benzos to get off the SSRIs. And I'm like, what in the fuck?
That doesn't make sense. Why would they give you that?
So you're taking a pill to get off of a pill.
Right.
And she's like, yeah, because if you don't take the benzos, then you go crazy and try to kill yourself. And I was like, holy shit.
But that's the thing is they just want to keep giving you, they just want to keep prescribing pills. It's all about that.
No, all the stuff that's illegal is probably the stuff that will help you get over your problems.
100%.
Why do you think you were depressed anyway? Can you talk about this?
I mean, it's a weird situation, honestly, because growing up, I never had any issues like at all. And it kind of hit me like when I was a sophomore in college. I don't really, I can't really explain. There's nothing that really happened. It was just kind of a switch. And I've like, based on really research I've done and like diagnoses I've been given, it sounds like it just kind of like develops in your early 20s, which is very strange. But like, that's kind of what I just started dealing with like randomly. And, so I like pretty quickly started seeking treatment and stuff. And, immediately first thing they do is they give you, prescriptions. And it literally started with like a prescription for Xanax and a prescription for Lexapro.
Wow.
And it's like, how do you start that way? Like, why?
Well, like your entire life, like if you start taking those pills, it's going to be totally different, right?
I mean, it changed my life. Changed my life. So I don't know, but.
So one of the things because when I was around that age too, it started hitting me. And I think that it has to do with the world. Because like you're taught your entire life, the world is supposed to be this way. And then you start to get to that age and you realize, holy shit, like this is all fake. My reality check was extremely intense, especially because I come from, like suburbia in Virginia, where like we don't see poverty, anything like in New Orleans. I mean, it was a huge reality check for me, and in the best way, because now I'm like way more, familiar with the world. And like, I know a lot. I just feel like I know a lot more things, but it definitely affected me, mentally, obviously. So. Well, your degree is in, once again,
public health.
Public health. So I mean,
got
that's
economics too.
Okay. Well, those are two big things that probably also shifted your mindset.
Oh, absolutely.
Because you started seeing all this poverty and you're like, what is going on here?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. It was, I mean, I think too, like I chose public health before I even really had any idea of the situation in New Orleans. And I just got lucky that I went with that, because I feel like there's so much I could do in New Orleans, and I'm really interested, especially in homelessness and the substance abuse in the area. Yeah.
So like, is that what public health is? Is like, anything that deals with like homelessness and stuff, or like what?
Public health is literally everything.
That's a big thing.
I mean, it is like the biggest umbrella of options. I mean, you like homelessness, infectious disease, disaster relief, sustainability, development, international work. Like it's everything, I mean, gun violence, it's everything. So, I mean, it's really, and New Orleans has all that. So
all that really and more. Yeah. Now I had a guy on a couple podcasts ago. He was also worked on homelessness policy. Okay. And he was telling me some of the stuff that he like really shed some light on the situation. One of the things he said that really stood out to me was that there is money to build housing for homeless people.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And he said, but the problem is when you go to these like town hall meetings, you have people, the only people that come to the town hall meetings are people that actually own property, the property owners. So in the town hall meetings, they explain to the property owners, when we build these houses for homeless people, it's going to drop your property value.
Right.
So they're like, well, I don't want to do that.
Exactly.
Yeah. So they end up funneling that money that was supposed to go to those things into other stuff. And those people are still on the streets.
Well, it's really disappointing too, when you like analyze the wealth gap a little bit, because one person could fix the housing crisis, with all the money that they have. And it's just it's despicable, honestly. But I did a little bit of work with Habitat for Humanity as well. And just seeing like, I mean, the neighborhoods that we go and do these builds in, every house needs to be redone, basically. Yeah. I just don't understand how it's so, from Katrina. Yeah. I don't understand how it's taking this long for things to get moving. And
then Ida came through and probably just Ida wiped out more of the
well,
stuff.
That's probably true as well. But
yeah, there are houses in the neighborhood that I live in they're so bad. There's still blue tarps on the house.
Absolutely. I see them everywhere.
Like, what? I mean, there has to be leaks in there, right? If there's blue tarps on it.
Absolutely. I mean, there's a regular that comes into Acropolis who was like telling me, I was like 2 weeks ago, he still is having roof work because of Ida. I'm like, it has been like a year now. I mean, it's absurd. So I don't know. They don't work particularly quick here.
No, and I think it's crazy to me that they still put up wooden poles.
Wooden poles.
Yeah, like for the light poles, it's like every time the hurricanes come through, they blow all the wooden poles over the light poles.
Oh yes, yeah.
So it's like, why not put metal ones back up?
I know,
There's got to be
right?
something you could change to that's better than wood.
No, it's just like the development here is lacking severely.
Yeah,
and I don't know who. I mean, who's leading that? You know, it's like.
Well, I think we all know who's Latoya.
Right.
Latoya Cantrell. Yeah, I've challenged her every time. I know I have 10 viewers that watch this podcast, but if she ever wants to come in, we can sit here and talk about it.
Yeah, let's have a conversation. That's amazing. No, I mean, it's really sad. I mean, even like from little things like the roads.
The pothole that was out here that one time. Do you remember that?
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, there's a pothole out here. It was like 3 foot deep, and it was here for months.
Stand in it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like how. It's pretty. It's not. I mean, and that's why it sucks because I love New Orleans so much. I mean, there's so much character. There's so many good things about it.
Mm-hmm.
But you have people that come in from out of town and they see these roads and they see trash everywhere and they don't like it. And it hurts because it's such a beautiful city. And like, I just wish they took more time to do, little things like that in terms of development to just like keep it. I don't know. Livable,
Well, I think if they didn't, so when the pothole was out here, I actually went around to some of the businesses around here, and I was like, "Yo, we need to just go and grab some stuff and like fix this pothole, let's put some dirt in it or whatever."
Right.
And someone was like, well, "You can't do that because they'll sue you if a car gets hurt." And I'm like, "So that's our entire system is structured to keep it the same way. Like they're not actually structuring it to make it work. Cause like even you could get 4 or 5 able-bodied dudes out here just to go grab a barrel full of dirt.
Yep. And just put it in.
Yeah.
I mean, for real, put little pebbles in it.
Yeah.
That's all you got to do. I mean, it's absurd. It's
But they make it so you can't do that.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
No, they really like, I mean, and I just moved a couple months ago. I live in kind of Fontainebleau area, and I got stuck the other day driving around because every single road is under construction.
Yeah,
and you literally people are driving down, wrong way down a one way. Like you have to.
Yeah,
I mean, it's just like, how am I supposed to live here?
No, that's the same area I drive through to get to my place. Yeah, and it's a nightmare sometimes because certain roads are shut down. You have to go all the way around the neighborhood to get to the next place.
But even then, it's like you try one entrance and then you're like, okay, I can't go here. Turn around, go in a different entrance. You're stuck there too. It's like, how am I supposed to get home then? Am I supposed to park my car in the middle of the street and walk?
Oh yeah, because some of the neighborhoods they shut those down.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and luckily for me, I'm just driving through.
Well, and the funniest thing too is like I got a little notice on my door, a couple weeks ago that they were going to do road work. They said they were going to be finished on the 19th of August. And they are still going strong. So,
right. Yeah.
I mean, it's like, can't trust anything they say.
What are they doing? Are they putting in new sewage or something?
Truly, God only knows. I mean, it's like there is it appears to be not moving along at all. I mean, it's like they literally haven't done any work on it.
That's what I think. Every single time they're doing construction in New Orleans, I think the same thing.
Oh yeah. No, they're slow as molasses.
Well, even when the building collapsed, what was that? The hotel collapsed?
Yeah, the Hard Rock.
Yeah. And there was dead bodies underneath.
How long were they in there? Like,
it was like a year,
yeah,
right?
It was a long time. I mean, what is that? Like, who is not taking charge? So, and like another frustrating thing I'm changing a little bit here is have you ever been stuck by the speed cameras?
Yeah.
Do you pay those tickets? Okay, so what do you do about that? Let's talk about that.
I've just been letting them stack up.
Oh, for real? Okay.
Yeah, I probably have like, my dad called me one day because my car's still registered in Arkansas.
Mine is also still registered. Mm-hmm.
Okay, still registered in Arkansas because I don't want to deal with all the bullshit down here. You get like brake checks and stuff down here. It's like there's just more stuff they stack onto you. So I'm just gonna leave it in Arkansas. So all my tickets that I get go back to them. He's like, dude, you got like $700 in tickets right now. And I was like, yeah, I'm not paying that shit.
Dude, the phone calls I receive from because my car is still registered to my father as well, like in Virginia. And it's so funny. Like I get phone calls all the time, like, you owe me $75. And I'm like,
oh, he's actually paying them for you?
No. Well, I mean, so yes,
tell him not to,
dude, but it's like, my dad is so straight. Like, you don't know. He's very straight and narrow.
Well, my parents are too, but it has to do with the fact that they don't understand that our system down here is so corrupt.
Yeah.
So you don't know where you're pissing that money off to. You're just shooting it into the unknown.
Well, it's certainly not in Louisiana. So,
no, yeah.
I mean,
yeah, I've heard that. I heard that it goes to a different state even.
That's what I've heard as well. So, I mean, but it's just, he's very, very tight. So I think.
I mean, I think it's how they were raised. Mm-hmm. So I'm sure he's around the same age as my parents, but they were raised in a time when the system actually looked like it worked correctly. And we're all being raised right now in a time where the system is clearly not working.
Nope.
but you have this like juxtaposition between our age and their age, and they still want to do things right. And it's like, no, dude, like it's not, none of this is going to change until everyone stands up and goes, fuck you to the system.
Exactly. Well, and that's the thing too, is like, you're right. I mean, they just don't understand really what it's like in New Orleans, being from, Arkansas and Virginia. Like it's just so different. It's not the same. I mean, nowhere is like this.
Well, small town Arkansas too. Like how many people were in your home?
It's not too small.
city?
I mean, it's real suburbia.
We were 2,000 people.
Okay. That's way smaller than me.
Tiny.
See, yeah, that's not, I think 30,000, something like that.
Yeah. And it's crazy. Like some of the people that stayed there their entire life.
Yeah.
And
I mean, that's in a small town. Absolutely.
Yeah.
You never leave.
And I love those people to death because they're my people, right? I grew up with them. But at the same time, it's like when I'm having conversations with them now, I have to like really dial it down.
Yeah.
Because we haven't seen the same things, and I get it.
Yeah. No, it's like the experiences here. I mean, no one can really relate. And it's like Payson and I actually, there was one time we were at the Dollar General. Do you know there used to be a Dollar General on South Claiborne?
Yeah. It's shut down now, right?
Yeah, shut down now. Yeah. We were standing in line waiting to buy something, and we saw somebody outside get shot.
What?
Yep. And it was just like, you wouldn't see that anywhere. I mean, I wouldn't see that anywhere else. Like maybe another city, but it's just like,
tell me about it.
Well, he died. I mean, I don't really even know. Like I thought it was a balloon pop, we're standing in line. I just heard a balloon pop. It's literally the day before the 4th of July, mind you. Worst possible day to do this.
Yeah, it could have been a firework,
But that's the thing too, is like the next day when there's fireworks going off
then.
constantly, I'm like,
duh.
Yeah, right. He planned it all wrong.
Kill someone,
He planned it all wrong. Oh my God. But it was so like, I mean, it was just, it's like, you don't see that anywhere else. We were just waiting in line, and Payson was like, get down. He was like, get down.
Yeah, smart.
Yeah. And I'm like, because at that point too, it's like, you don't know if it's like a mass, someone's coming for you. Like, but it was just a one hit, like, he was clearly after the guy. So yeah, it was brutal. And I appreciate NOPD because they were there literally probably within a minute. Yeah. I mean, they were quick. So.
Been trying to get one of those guys on here.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I talked to a guy the other night, and he was telling me that he knew the cop that walked off duty because there was only like 35 cops on duty that night for the entire 8 districts or whatever he was saying. And I was like, can you get that guy to like come on the podcast and chat about this? Cause that's a problem.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So I think it would be great to have him on.
That would be really interesting.
Yeah. So speaking of another gunshot time though, I was outside meditating one day at my apartments, and then all of a sudden I just start hearing pops go off everywhere all around me. And I was like, holy shit, what is going on right now? There's like a gang war in our little neighborhood.
Are you joking? Where do you live?
I live, Blue Plate Artist Lofts. It's
very close to me actually. Yeah.
Yeah. So I live there, and there's like all around the apartments. I guess there's like a couple gangs in the neighborhood. So I hit the deck too. And went into my apartment where there's all concrete, and I was like, I'm going to stay right here.
Yeah, I'm just going to stay out of it. Oh my gosh, that's it's pretty scary, but that's almost comforting though when you know it's like you don't want to be obviously hit by like a
straight
rogue bullet,
yeah.
But it is like, it's almost comforting. It's like, well, they're not coming for me. You know what I mean? Like they've got each other. But yeah, no, I mean, it's horrifying.
Well, I think it's part of living in a city. I'm reading a book right now. It's called The Human Zoo.
Okay. What's it about?
So it talks about cities being the human zoos. So it's basically comparing us to animals, and it's saying that when we live in smaller communities, kind of like where I came from, that's our tribe. You know who the people are, so you know who you can trust and who you can't trust. So you kind of like have your bearings. But when you get in a city like this, or even a bigger city, you don't know who's around you. You don't know who to trust. So you're always in this like fight or flight mode.
Right.
And rather than like having your community around you, you're literally just trying to fend for yourself. So you're trying to take. And that's why I kind of like this bar, because it's kind of like, and for Forest Street in general, it's like our community.
Oh yeah. I mean,
we all know each other.
The sense of community I feel in this neighborhood is, I've never experienced it anywhere else, and like, again, you would think maybe in a suburb area, like you would get that feeling kind of, but it's just like, I never grew up with anything like that. And like I was talking about earlier, I mean, with Ida, we would go to Rouse's, charge our phones and stuff. We would, it was a hangout,
Oh, yeah. Like, tell the podcast people about that, right. Your Ida experience.
So we stayed in New Orleans for Ida. Payson has this, like, I guess you could call it a fortress apartment building, right? So he was like, because I was trying to leave. I wanted to go. Like, I did not want to stay. I wanted to make a vacation out of it. And he was like, no, we're staying. So I was like, okay. We ended up being fine for the most part. A couple windows broke, ceiling damage, lots of ceiling damage, and other little things. But I mean, we were fine. And I kind of don't really remember the hurricane itself. I really tried to just go to sleep. And then, I woke up the next day, no power, no cell service. And I was like, okay, well, this is how it's going to go. And we just kind of did our thing. Like we hung out, we would go charge our phone at charge like every device we had, we had like little backup chargers and stuff too. We'd go to Rouse's every single day, hang out, drink some beers with the people. It was so much fun. And then we'd go home, we'd like listen to one podcast. That's all the charge we had. We'd like have one podcast and then we'd like, I don't know, we just hung out,
That was your entertainment for the day, the one podcast?
Truly like we really did that. But it was so much fun. Like it was healing because being away from your cell phone like that, like you have no one to respond. Like it felt
because you didn't have cell service. See, that's what you were saying.
Yeah, I had no cell service. Yeah. Sorry, did I miss that? I had no cell service. So it was just like, it was an incredible feeling. I mean, I really wish that like there was something else that could mimic that because it's like, I said before, vacation, you don't feel that way. You still got your cell phone.
Yeah.
I wish there was something else that you could do that would just like take you fully away from that.
Well, that's the crazy part about it is there was so much other stuff. There was so much other negatives going on in your life at that one time during when Ida came through. But this being away from your cell phone was the one positive you took away from it.
Oh, absolutely.
That shows you how damaging these fucking things are.
Truly. I mean, it's just like, if I can't even describe to you like how I felt. I really felt like we had a blast. I mean, I'm not going to lie. Like, and as bad as the conditions were, we had a blast.
I actually had a good time too during Ida. And I know people don't like to hear that because they think, that I shouldn't have had a good time.
Yeah, I'm not trying to be disrespectful at all. I know some people did not have a good time at all. Like,
so in the apartment building that I live in too is like a fortress as well. Mm-hmm. And all the people there are amazing. So the one cool thing about us was as soon as it hit, we all realized that our food was going to go bad in a couple of days. So we all went out to like this front porch area that we have. Mm-hmm. And we took the grills out there and we all just like had a community grill. And I had all this,
hell yeah.
I had all this booze at the house that I was saving up for a special occasion. Mm-hmm. And I was like, fuck it, this is a special occasion.
Absolutely, dude. So
went out there and we had a little party for like 3 to 4 days. And then finally I was like, okay, I'm going to get out of here.
Yeah.
But it was fun to meet the neighbors. And like, here's the cool thing about it is we all know each other now.
Yeah. Well, exactly. It's like, you really do befriend these people.
Yeah.
And we had this like, oh my God, we had this duo, this like Duncy duo. It was hysterical. Cause like every day we're going we know exactly where to go to charge our phones, right? Rouse's. Well, we had these dodos in our apartment building. They were like Harold and Kumar who thought that they needed to go. They literally checked themselves into the hospital, Oshner, right across the street, in order to charge their phones then just like left. And we were like, you guys can go to like, there's a lot of other places you could go instead of checking into the hospital. Like he really felt like you had to do that. Oh my God. It was like, so that was our crew during the hurricane. But I mean, it was a good time. Can't complain.
What about like the public education stuff? I need to know more about that you do. Like, what do you have plans for with that?
Well,
because you can see the flaws in the system.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
so like,
clearly.
do you think you can ever change that? Or do you think it's something that's just going to be here forever?
It's really difficult. It's one of those things like in public health, we call it a wicked problem. Like homelessness, for example, a wicked problem. It's like one of those things that it's just like, we just don't know how to solve it. So, and obviously like we're trying, no one's like giving up, but it's just one of those things that's just it's like feels impossible to solve. And there's just so many complicated things about how to like approach it. So I think, I mean, for me, I'm really interested in substance abuse and also like kind of infection with HIV and Hep C and all that stuff because of like drug use and whatever. So, I'd really want to do something with that. I mean, this area obviously needs it a lot. Also, I'm from Virginia, West Virginia, really close to me. That area needs it a lot as well. So I think, just trying to just working with policy even, I don't know, just trying to like implement better programs and also harm reduction. Because a lot of the way that
what does that mean?
So harm reduction is a specific way that like, I don't know how, like it's a strategy. Okay. So it's a way of approaching health behaviors as like, okay, we understand people are going to do these behaviors. How do we make it so that they can be as safe as possible, even though they're going to do it? So like a harm reduction example is like a syringe exchange program, like where you can get or clean needles and like safely inject and whatever, instead of using some dirty needle you found on the street or something like that.
Why do we think people are going to do these things? Like why?
Like use drugs, you mean?
Yeah. I mean, like using drugs is one thing, but like they're trying to escape reality.
Absolutely. They are. I think, and that's the thing too, is like really it starts with mental health. It really starts like at that level. But, it's just, it's I don't know why people, you know, do those. It's just, it's a coping mechanism, really.
See, I feel like our world is such shit and people know it's shit.
100%.
So instead of making it better, we're just kind of like making coping mechanisms for the shit world.
Well, that's why I want to like,
I think policies are good. Yeah.
I mean, you know, it just, I think it is a really, you know, the society we live in is very focused on successful people and a specific idea of success. And I don't think that's particularly fair for a lot of people. And it's difficult for a lot of people to handle.
Yeah.
So,
we have a society that's take.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you can't just keep taking from a system. Mm-mm. Someone's got to give.
Well, and you know, the economy, like everything about it is extremely unfair, I think, too. It's just,
I think it has to do with poor leadership.
Absolutely.
And it's all of them, not just the president. Most people think the president's the leader. It's like, no, all these motherfuckers. It's all of them. Yeah.
Well, it's pretty clear at this point that they don't care about us. I mean,
100%.
It's not really about that at this point. They're just trying to make it the most, whatever, organized or whatever they think it looks like. And it just...
Well, that blows my mind too, that they're all trying to just make the most money. And it's like, when the system finally crashes, your money that you have isn't going to be anything.
Right. No.
It's going to be worthless.
Well, exactly. It's like, it's paper.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't mean
paper
anything
anymore. Now it's just like digital numbers.
Oh, let's not go there.
Yeah.
I'm scared of that. I'm terrified of that.
Oh, the crypto and stuff?
Yeah.
So I think crypto is a tool that could change the world.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think that right now, the way the government has taken it over is they're trying to, you know, control it.
Well, I think, the only reason I'm a little like hesitant again is because of, like we talked about with the cell phone thing, is like, I do not want to be further involved in technology.
Right.
I really don't I'd like to step away instead. So I wish that they weren't, I don't know, but I mean, it could be useful. Like, you know, let's just see how it develops. What are your thoughts?
So, well, with crypto, if it's a centralized currency, like what they're trying to do with crypto right now, they're trying to have it where they can control it. Mm-hmm. But if it's decentralized, that means that everyone with a mining machine, like I have a mining machine, that means that all these transactions are getting funneled through everyone else's. Okay. So that the government doesn't actually control the what you're doing, but they want to be able to track everything you're doing. So if they can keep it decentralized, then it'll change the world because they won't be able to tell where you're spending your money and stuff.
Right. Well, what's the purpose of tracking it?
Oh, so that,
are they like trying to?
Well, the purpose of tracking it is so that when you say something wrong about the government on a podcast, they can go, okay, well, you're not buying anything today.
Oh, that's
you don't get to eat today. No money for you.
Oh, don't you love that? Okay.
But so like in China, they're already doing these things. So if you like, for instance, there was a protest that they were having, and all these people were getting on the train to go to the protest. But China found out who these people were, and they shut off their train passes.
Oh my God, are you serious?
So they couldn't get on the trains and go to the protest. Yeah.
I mean, I could see that in China, but I kind of would be terrified if we get that if we bring that over here. I mean, that's like.
Yeah, I think it's only if the government that we have right now keeps going out of control like they are right now, then it's only a matter of time before that is here.
So let me ask you this. Would you be part of like the rebellion, or would you be part of the, like, you're in all the system, you're like doing all the.
100%. I don't think I'm not on the government side.
Okay. Right.
Yeah. So all rebellion.
Yeah, rebellion. Yeah. Because I kind of I'm like envisioning a big old group of people. We go into the woods somewhere, like, I'm just gonna live off the land.
Well, I think there are possibilities to actually take the system that they're building and manipulate it to make it work better for us. Because I think that all the leaders that are in charge right now are fucking idiots.
Oh, absolutely. Well, I think we just need to change. Like, we have such old-fashioned ways of thinking. I mean, people are just so stuck in old ways, and like, really, all that needs to, like, I mean, if you just change like small societal like just norms, like small norms, I think a lot of things would be better. You know, a lot of things and a lot of people would be better. So
yeah, but no, our education system indoctrinates us into thinking a certain way.
I mean, and that's something too that I realized when I got to college is like, there were things I learned. I mean, you know, Virginia, like, it was like Jamestown, first colony. Like, we did so much Virginia history, and I literally had a substitute tell us one time that slaves liked being slaves. Like, I mean, you know, I learned stuff like that in my school, and then I come here and I'm like, oh my God, like, I need to change. Like, it's like, I mean, I never believed that, obviously, but it's
I
like,
hate history.
Yeah, but it's like, it's just stuff like that. It's like, why do they approach things in that way in school for kids when it's like, that is not reality, and it's really kind of inappropriate. Like, because
they want you to think that.
It's insane. Yeah. It's actually insane.
One of the craziest things or the coolest things that I do actually is, on Instagram, I have a few lists saved where any ancient ruins that I find on Instagram. I'll save them to my list. And it's amazing how many awesome structures are around this planet that we never leared about whenever we were growing up.
Right.
You know, all we learned about was like the pyramids.
Yeah.
And we're like, they don't know how we built them. And it's
The
like
freaking zygotes or whatever, like those, like, or that's not what it's called. What is it called? Starts with a Z. I don't know.
I think a zygote's a part of the human body.
You're so right. It's like what is it? Like a part of the baby or something,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. Okay. So it's not that. It was
Ziggurat.
Like ziggurat. I built one. That's the only reason I'm thinking
You built
about
a
it.
ziggurat?
I literally had to build one for class. Yeah.
What is a ziggurat? I know the word, but I
It's
don't
like
know
some
what it
like
is.
it's like kind of steps. Like imagine like little steps, but like a triangle.
Oh, like a step pyramid.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, it was cool. Mine was pretty good.
So another cool thing I saw about step pyramids the other day, I saw when they took the area of a circle and they took it and they like basically rolled it out. And like if you roll the area of a circle out, it makes a ziggurat.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very cool. Are you interested in like traveling? Have you traveled at all?
I'm not interested in traveling at all.
Okay,
I
really?
actually hate traveling.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
I would like to know why.
But that's why I like being in New Orleans, because I feel like I can sit here and the world will come to me because it's a destination people like to come to.
You can learn a lot from just people here. Absolutely.
Yeah, but just the whole process of traveling, going through airports, standing in lines, I hate things like that.
Okay, fair enough. What about like, are you interested in like driving like do you do like road trips and stuff? I mean, obviously you went to Memphis.
So here's a really cool story about some road trips that I took. Whenever I was mid-20s, I thought I was going to move to LA and pursue acting and stuff on a bigger level. And then I got there and I was like, holy shit, what am I doing? I didn't know anybody out there. I was like, I'm lost right now.
I am screwed.
So I just turn around and I've been saving money up for a while for this. And I drive back to Arkansas. And on the way back to Arkansas, I stopped and I saw all these different places that I didn't see on the way through because I was just trying to get there as quick as I could. One of the ones that I saw was this meteor crater. I think it's in Mexico is where it is, New Mexico.
Okay.
But it's like this massive meteor crater. And you stand on the side of it and it's so big that in order to see in the bottom of the meteor crater, you have to use binoculars.
Are you serious?
100%
So
serious.
it's that deep? Like,
It's that deep. It's like a mile wide, I think.
that's horrifying.
Yeah, right?
That's actually really horrifying. That's scary. That could wipe out the whole planet.
Oh, yeah, it's huge.
Oh my God.
And like no one even knows it's really there unless you're driving by and see the signs for it. I had no clue. But I'm standing on the side of this meteor crater and it's just me because I was alone, right? I didn't have anybody else with me. So it's me taking in this awesome experience. And then I realized I was like, I am so small that there is so much on this planet that could just wipe me out instantly. And I was like, I don't know what to think about this right now because I still am trying to take it all in. But that's kind of how I started experiencing the world too. Like if I ever went somewhere, I wanted to go alone because I feel like there's something about a shared experience with someone else, but there's also something about being completely alone and taking in this grandeur all by yourself.
Absolutely. I totally agree. I'm pretty into traveling. I've done some travel, done like a lot of traveling growing up. And then I studied abroad when I was literally a freshman in college. I went to Rome and so I was completely alone as well. And like for me, that's a little bit more difficult.
You're a tiny woman, yes.
Well, yeah. I mean, and also it's just like, it was nerve wracking. I mean, I'm a freshman in college, like, you know, by myself and in Italy, like culture shock immediately, you know, it was scary, but doing things like that, like, I mean, I would go and see sites like the Spanish Steps and all that stuff, like by myself. And it was really nice. Like it was soothing and like, it just felt good. I mean, it is nice to be alone, you know, like when you're doing stuff like that, but I'm really interested in traveling. I like,
So have you seen any like third world countries?
I mean, I don't know that they qualify. I've been to Egypt.
A lot of poverty there, yeah.
Yeah. South Africa, maybe also third world, but they're fairly, I mean, they're developed, like my family's from there. So, it's very like urban and developed and it seems first world over there. I've done a lot of traveling. Like my parents,
I see that a lot of women like to travel too. What do you think? What do you think that is?
Curiosity. Like, I don't know.
Because like dudes are just like, I just want to chill.
Well, change your mindset. You have to go explore a little bit.
No, so another one thing I saw was that I've seen a third world country and I was like, I grew up in a first world country. I was like, I don't need to see anything else. Like that's enough for me.
Wrong. Dude, are you not interested in like, I mean, you're interested in religion, no? I mean, are you not trying to go see any?
No, I don't need to see these things in like person.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's
I
fair.
like to see,
fair.
I like to see the pictures of them.
Yeah, it's cool. You know
And
where
then-
I'd love to go is,
where's that?
have you ever seen pictures of Petra in Jordan?
I'm pretty sure I've seen the picture of it, but I don't.
It's like I don't know how to describe it. It's like a building built into a giant wall in the middle of a desert.
Oh, you're talking about the one they moved. They actually moved that one time.
Did they move it?
Yeah. Is it? No, Petra. What's the one with the giant statues on it? They moved that one.
I got no clue.
Yeah. So I had a buddy, or my buddy Randy. They actually went to Egypt this past summer.
Yeah.
On his like summer break, and he saw all these different ruins and stuff. And so they come back. They actually just recently moved to Lafayette, but he showed me the pictures that they took before they left.
And you're like, that's all I need to see.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's so cool because they actually went into a few of the pyramids. They would pay like a local to take them over to the pyramids, and no one was there.
Yeah. That's the thing about Egypt is that the tourism is extremely low right now.
Yeah.
Like we went too. We had a tour guide and he was literally begging. He was like, please tell your friends, like, please tell everyone, like it's safe here. Like they can come here. Cause that's the thing is people think it's not safe. And I don't know about the situation right now, to be fair. I don't know. Cause like sometimes it's safe, sometimes it's not, right? Or that's what they say. So, I mean, I don't know the situation at the moment, but it's so sad. I mean, they have such beautiful things. Like we saw, there's a site, it's called Abu Simbel, and it's like these beautiful, like, old statues and stuff. And then you go inside and it's like, I mean, it looks like the inside of a pyramid. There's hieroglyphics everywhere painted on the wall. I mean, it's incredible.
That's
incredible.
Crazy to me that they were building stuff like that.
Oh,
And
absolutely.
Look at the structures we build today.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, how did they even do that? I mean, it was incredible, but we were the only ones there.
Yeah.
And it's like, when do you ever get to experience something like that?
No, he loved it. He's like, we got to go in the pyramids and stuff, just like looking around.
I went inside the pyramid.
The one place is like the place at Jordan, right? That we just so it has the big obelisk like in the middle of it.
Okay.
Is that what I'm talking about? There's one that has these like massive like stone, not obelisk, but they're like stone supports. And they're like,
I'm sure I know what you're talking about, but I can't visualize it.
Yeah, they're insane how big they are.
Yeah. Look, I have theories.
What do they tell me?
Well,
Aliens?
I don't know. I mean,
Concrete?
Potentially, because it's just like, what? There's no way that they could have done that by themselves.
Well, so I watched, there's a thing I think it's on YouTube right now. It's about the pyramids. I think it's called like Pyramids 2020 or something like that.
Okay.
But it's outlining how they think that the pyramids were built. And it's actually quite fascinating because I think it could be true. But he was saying that they built, they made concrete. Mm-hmm. They had the recipe for concrete. So they made limestone concrete, and that's what they did. They poured all these bricks by making wooden templates or whatever, structures, whatever they are. And they poured concrete inside of those, and they would just keep going and going until they didn't actually drag these stones.
Oh, so they just poured it in place.
They poured concrete, yeah.
You're joking. That actually makes sense.
Yeah, and then they actually break down how they did the mathematics to align it to certain stars and like the actual the tubes or whatever in the pyramids. I don't know what you call them, but there's like air tubes in the pyramids for airflow.
Yeah. Like tunnels and stuff.
And then what else? They showed how, because there's these massive granite structures inside of the pyramid, right?
Oh, I've been there. Yeah.
Okay. So they were saying that with the red granite, what they would do is they would go to the quarry that they were getting the granite from. Mm-hmm. They would chip away like small blocks so they could actually carry it by hand. Okay. And they would take it back to the area where they were going to melt down the granite. Mm-hmm. And like
reform it.
They would use sunlight. So they would take these massive mirrors that they made and use sunlight to direct it to the granite, and they would melt down and re-solidify in these massive structures.
But that's insane to me that they were able to do. I mean, that like we don't do that.
No, well, it has. I think it has to do with the Great Reset thing they talk about. Mm-hmm. Okay, so I think that there was another one back then. I don't know what actually caused the cataclysm, but I think that there was a massive population on the planet of humans, and something really, really bad happened. And all these structures that we had, they were all just dilapidated for all these years because they've been sitting there dormant this entire time. And humanity's been slowly rebuilding itself. Right. But the ones that actually... So I think here's another theory of mine.
Okay, let's hear it.
Okay. I think that around when World War II broke out, mm-hmm. I think we were doing a lot of exploring on the planet, and we were actually stumbling across all these different temples and things. Mm-hmm. And we were getting technology from these temples. Yeah. And I think that this is people are gonna rate me for this.
God, say it.
The Germans stumbled into a lot of this technology before anyone else did. Yeah. And I think that's why the entire world was like, okay, we're about to fuck the Germans up.
Interesting. Okay.
And they were stumbling this technology, and we didn't want it to fall into the wrong hands. And I think that's how the Germans were able to hold off the entire world in a war.
Okay. So are you like particularly interested in World War II? Or,
No, I'm interested in this.
I mean,
stuff.
where do you
I don't know
where
why.
do you develop these theories? Like, did you come up with this on your own, or did you
It's so weird. I don't know.
it just came to you?
Yeah. Like sometimes I'm just like, I let's watch YouTube videos for like hours, or like I'll just be meditating and then all of a sudden these ideas will just hit me. And I'm like,
And you're
holy
like,
shit.
this is it. Yeah.
Well, I'm like, this could be it. And then even having conversations with other people, and I hear like the things that are coming out of their mouth, and I'm like, so, okay, you were taught this way.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, why were you, I don't know where these ideas come from. I think it's just a culmination of everything around me. I'm just very aware of everything that's going on.
Dude, that's good though. No, that's good. Like realizations. I feel like I kind of need that.
Yeah. And then if you look at the ancient Hindu temples, like they're incredible.
Oh my God.
So, I mean, there are certain people that that are really smart with like circuitry and things.
Mm-hmm.
And they look at these ancient temples and they can actually pull out the circuitry of these temples.
Like,
so they're saying that if you look at from a top down perspective of these old temples, they look like motherboards,
oh yeah.
like computer motherboards.
But that's what I'm saying. That's weird. Like, how did they do it so perfectly?
Well, no, I just think these people were on another level than us with their knowledge.
Yeah.
And it was a level of knowledge that we can't even fathom right now.
I think too, it's like, I don't know, maybe it's like if you think about it, like what else were they doing?
What do you mean?
Like what else were they doing during the day? Besides like building stuff. Like they didn't have like TV, like
Oh, how do you know that though?
I mean, I guess that's true. Maybe they had jobs.
Yeah, we don't know anything. All we can see is these massive temples. We don't actually know how they lived.
The
fact that they were building these elaborate temples is amazing.
But that's why it's cool when they find tombs and stuff like that,
Mm-hmm.
because there's so much stuff inside. Like they leave all like their precious belongings or whatever inside the tomb.
Mm-hmm.
So you learn so much about like whatever they had, like even cooking tools, like beds and stuff. I mean, they leave everything. So that's really cool.
I don't even think they're tombs.
Okay.
Yeah.
What do you think they are?
Well, no, I think they're machines. I think that whenever the Egyptians stumbled across these big temples, they realized that if they took over these and said they built them, that no one would fuck with them. So then they started using them as tombs, but they're actually not for.
Well, so here's what I'm talking about though. So have you ever heard of the Valley of the Kings in Egypt? So that's where they literally have that's where Tutankhamun's tomb is. So it's like there's all these like whatever tomb, right? Whatever. So and you go inside. I mean, they're really elaborate, they're very beautiful, but it seems like there was body in there, right?
Seems like a waste is what it seems like. Like all that labor to make a big rock structure.
Well, and it's like in the ground as well. Like you don't see them. Like all you see is these like mountains. And the next thing you know, it's like tomb. Like it's crazy.
Oh, they didn't even do those in pyramids.
No, it wasn't pyramids. It was just like in the middle of like.
So those may be.
That's what I'm saying. Like those are like his body was in there. Like that's a tomb. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's really cool. Like, and you get to go inside them, and yeah, it was very special.
Well, so some of the temples that I like to look at are the ancient Indian temples.
Okay.
Like these things are built out of like pure rock, and we think they're pure rock. They could have been concrete as well.
Right.
But they're beautiful. Like there's not an inch on these temples that doesn't have some kind of design.
Oh my God. So intricate is really what it is. Like, and you think about like how they carved that. I mean, how long it must have taken. I mean, my gosh, it's insane.
So what I'm really saying is we don't know anything about his story.
His story.
Yeah, it's all history is his story. It's the guy who recorded it, right?
It's true. Well, and also it's, the way one person told it is how we know it. So a little bit scary.
That's why I don't believe any of the history that I was taught in school. Now I have my own like history that I formulated through the years of just like research and stuff.
I mean, pretty much same. It's like there are things that I learned in school that I can like build off of, certainly.
Yeah.
But they weren't fully developed when I learned them. So,
Yeah, I think even the way we teach math in school is crazy to me. Like I didn't fully understand like geometry and stuff until I got out and someone started showing me, oh, well, this is all geometry is. And it's like, what?
I know.
So this long equation they gave me in school is just a circle.
Right. Like
doing this. Yeah.
So were you were you good at math? Like, were you a math kid?
I don't know that I was good at anything. Yeah. I wasn't good at English. I can tell you that right now.
Okay.
Yeah. Grammar was my worst subject. Everything else was pretty easy. But yeah, my mother was an English teacher.
Really? Okay. Like at your school? Or?
And that could be one of the reasons grammar was my worst subject because I just like rebelled against like everything she was teaching me.
Right. You're like, I'm not going to do this class, Mom.
I was like, why does a comma need to go there? It makes no sense. You understand what I'm saying? You get it.
Right.
Yeah.
That's
So
funny.
grammar was my worst by far. But yeah, I went to school for like IT and stuff. So that was a lot of
Okay.
math and stuff.
Right.
So, yeah.
Damn. Okay. That's
But I mean, yeah, I don't do it anymore.
well, but you have the skills. I mean,
They're probably gone now.
yeah,
too.
yeah.
The
right.
world evolves so fast nowadays that if you're not keeping up with that
it's
kind of
probably
stuff,
changed to be honest. Yeah. Since that's true.
But it does give me a good base to understand things like crypto.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I mean, for the way that the world's developing, I think it's definitely going to like come in handy just for random everyday things.
Were you bad at math? Is that why you were asking that?
I mean, I'm not great. I wasn't ever great at math, but you know what's weird though? I was never good at math in school. I was always at like the lower level, right? I passed everything, but then when I got to studying public health and stuff, we do a lot of statistics and like biostatistics. So I ended up taking like 3 or 4 biostats classes like in my college career. And
What does
honestly,
that mean, biostats?
It's like
Like the different types of people that are...
so it's more like, it's like more when you're looking at a public health study, it's like data from a public health study you're more looking at rather than just like data for anything, if that makes sense. Like, so it's just more like human study behavior and stuff like that.
Okay.
Data. So we did a lot of data sets and like, like SPSS software and stuff like that, which I ended up being quite good at. So I kind of like that actually. And it's also like really useful. I feel like I could probably mesh my economics, whatever background with statistics and probably do okay somewhere,
Well, math is fascinating to me because everything around us is math.
Everything is math. Yeah.
Yeah. There's a experiment that I often quote. You may find this interesting. But there's a mathematician took a jar full of jelly beans and he went into an office building and he asked everyone in the office building how many jelly beans are in this jar. And like 1 or 2 people got the answer correct, but they was guessing, right?
Okay.
Just guessing. Over
Right.
5,000 people he asked. And he repeated the experiment several times. But he then took the average of all the answers that he got and came within 2 to 3 jelly beans every single time by averaging all the people's guesses. And he repeated the experiment several times to see if it would actually work. So it kind of shows that the individual doesn't know the correct answer always, but
the collective
does.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So when it comes to stats, it's cool.
But then you wonder like, why can't we solve problems like homelessness? You know what I mean?
Well, I think we can though. This is the point I'm getting at. That's why I think our system is flawed because in my opinion, if there is a problem, there has to be a solution because we live in a very duality reality.
Right.
Yeah. So, I mean, there has to be a solution out there. I think that the people with the correct solutions are the one that get lost in the system though, because they're the highly creative thinkers.
Right.
And those creative thinkers don't just want to go and sit in an office and make money all day. They want to actually like dive into these creative solution problems.
Yeah. And but I feel like that lacks a little bit. Like we're lacking that in some people at the moment.
Yeah.
So I hate to like change the subject a
Yeah,
little
go
bit.
for it.
Do you mind? Have you ever heard of the rat park experiment?
No. What was that?
Okay. So it just is like, so you bring up this other one. I'm fascinated with this one. It's like something they did. They basically put out 2 rat cages. Okay. One with a bunch of other rats and like, whatever toys and slides or I don't know what rats like toys, but like shit, they had shit in their thing. The other one, it was like, it was an isolated rat by himself or whatever. There was no like nothing. And both rat cages had, I think it was heroin. So, they were studying like how many times like the rats were using heroin in both cages. And the one that was isolated and by himself was using it so much. Like, I think, the difference was unbelievable. Yeah. I think he died probably. So it's just that's an interesting experiment because that very much mirrors like human social behavior. And I think it's so important that we know that we like look at that and like we understand that that's really the basis for such problems. And
It's loneliness.
I mean, it is. And like society we need to push like a community sense instead of a like fight for success and like fight to be the best. And like, it's very toxic. I mean, It's not healthy for people. And I think that experiment like mirrors it so much. And I think people need to know about it.
Yeah, it's a great experiment for sure.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Because I think that's one of the reasons that we had the lockdowns and stuff.
Yeah. Oh my, that's part of the problem.
Yeah.
I mean, like overdose rates have never been higher. Like it's isolation all the way.
Yeah, mental health was definitely a huge problem. I don't think we haven't even like scratched the surface of what it's going to happen. The long-term health effects right now. I saw a stat the other day. I think it was something like 40% of millennials are on some kind of SSRIs.
Yep. I would believe that. 100%.
That's crazy. when half the world has to be on a pill
No,
to get
it's
up every day.
really, that's really disappointing. I mean, and it's like, does no one look at that and say, I mean, it's just like the whole, it's, you know, and also like in public health, we look at things at different levels. So like the individual, the interpersonal, the community, and the societal, and it really all comes down to the societal level, and policy and like government and all these people are just not fighting for us. And it's just, it's never going to change until they start doing that for us, or someone. It really takes one person. So
Maybe you should go into politics.
yeah, maybe a little shy for that.
Well, no, I think that's the problem with the world. People that should be going into politics right now aren't doing it.
Right.
And you have these greedy people that get in there and they just start like, you know,
Messing everything up.
yeah, they don't actually care. They just want to get paid for the highest bidder.
Well, I really do. I mean, ideally, honestly, like my goal would be to start maybe like my own nonprofit. I'd really love to do something of my own. I mean, obviously that's way down the line and that takes a lot of work and money, but something on that level, I think is probably more like achievable for me. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
I think that too. Yeah, you have to start local, right?
Absolutely. So
Well, anything else you want to say today? The conversation's been great. Thank you for coming in.
having me.
Yeah.
I really appreciate it. I hope I gave, a little.
Yeah, I would love to have you on again sometime.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd
So
love to
maybe
come
I
back.
think what you and Diana were talking about was having a panel.
Yeah.
That'd be really cool to do that.
Absolutely. I'd be down for sure. Cool. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you, Charlotte.
Awesome.